Hello? Is anyone there? I'm lost. I was walking in the forest, then suddenly this bright light appeared. The next thing I knew, I woke up at a canyon and wandered my way into this town. Hello? Anyone? Someone please answer. What happened here? Where am I? That house, it looks like it was ripped right out of the ground. Am I dreaming? What's really going on here? Hey guys, Thomas from wisegamer.com here, bringing you my review of Obduction, a game by Cyan Inc., the makers of the very well-known Myst series. This game came out for PC, but you can also play it on Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, which I understand is PC, but I wanted to say that there is VR support as well. I did actually play it on the Vive for a few hours, and the gameplay you're seeing here is actually general PC gameplay with mouse and keyboard, and that's just to kind of appeal to a wider audience rather than having the Vive controllers and stuff, and a little bit easier to record too. So the story goes that you have been abducted by some kind of seed-like alien being. This bright glow flew across the sky, drawing you in, and you woke after this big bright flash alone in some kind of alien world with an old western town in front of you. As you explore and solve puzzles, more things become clear that this isn't some kind of utopia that you've been rescued and chosen for, but instead is actually some kind of prison. In true Myst style, you have like this FMV hologram type thing that you get to look. It's a really cool callback to those types of games. And those holograms, they start talking about how, oh, this town is thriving and things like that. But as you find out more and more, this town actually isn't as much of a safe haven as you thought. So you'll have to solve puzzles and unravel the mystery to understand exactly what happened to you, this town, and the world that you've been sent to. And again, it's very much like a Myst fashion, and with that being said, since it's so story driven and that's the point of playing the game, I don't want to go too much more in detail than that. Now, the gameplay is absolutely wonderful. If you're a fan of open world puzzle adventure games like Myst, Riven, or more recently titles like The Witness, then you'll enjoy the gameplay here. I played about 3 hours in VR on the HTC Vive, and I didn't experience any type of motion sickness at all. The controls were actually really intuitive, and really the only issue I had is there was a couple areas I felt small performance issues, which in VR, that's a nightmare. That's usually where people do get motion sickness. If you drop frames, the headset will try to adjust to make sure that you don't get that weird tearing effect type thing or that weird frame drop that causes your nausea to kick in. I will say that in general, the game does have some performance issues even on PC. I was playing on Ultra and had some issues. I dropped it down once and dropped it down again on the levels and was definitely having some performance drops here and there, but it was very, very rare, where in VR it was happening a little bit too often. Not a bad experience, something that they can patch, but something to note in here as well. Now, I'll get more into that, into the graphics and the visuals and things like that, but I just wanted to note that I did have a few hours in VR, and I played a new file basically from the start on PC with Ultra settings, and that's where you see my gameplay testing that we're playing right here. So you need to explore everything in this type of game. I mean, the gameplay goes, some people say it's like a walking simulator, but really a walking simulator kind of comes off as a negative type thing, where in this, this is perfect. This is what you're supposed to do, is you walk around, you explore everything, you figure out where you're going to be going. I never really felt lost at all, but there was more than one time where I was like, all right, there's a lot of different things I know I have to do. I just got to figure out how to get to that point. And it's kind of like a point-and-click adventure game, but in 3D, in first-person view instead. And again, it's similar to The Witness, where The Witness had physical puzzles to solve. In this, it's more of trying to find out these puzzles of exploring the right areas and getting the right combination of information, or taking pictures of things to take your notes, basically, of what a safe combination might be or something like that, and putting those two and two together to be able to make progression within the game. It was really nice. Again, I never felt like there was so much uncertainty that I had no idea where to go for too long. There were a few points where I got hung up while streaming it, where maybe 5-10 minutes of me sitting there, and then I finally said, okay, wait, I think this is what I need to do. So, I mean, it was a good challenge so far, and I haven't beat the game yet, but I definitely want to continue playing it, and I will be on stream. Now, outside of that, I really don't want to spoil too much of the gameplay. Similar to the story, the gameplay is fantastic, and I mean, again, that's the whole point of playing it. So I will be playing it in full on stream at beam.pro/wisegamer, so if you're interested, you can watch the VOD of my first gameplay. I'll probably be streaming it today, which is Friday the 21st, so you guys won't see this video until Monday, but wanted to let you know that I will be playing it today as well, so you'll see more VODs of me playing this, and I plan to play it all the way through. Moving into visuals, I touched on this some already, talking about the graphics and everything, but the game is absolutely gorgeous. I was running everything with a GTX 1080 on Ultra and had no issues except for a couple areas that decided to drop frames. Again, this was just like a couple specific instances where it was noticeable and it didn't really do anything but hang for 2 or 3 frames and it picked right back up. I mean, it was maybe a second at most, probably less than a second, and it wasn't something that took away from the experience. Now, playing in VR, these frame drops are a lot more detrimental. And it's something that, again, I didn't experience motion sickness myself, but most people that have frame drops in VR do get motion sickness, so your mileage may vary on that. Personally, the couple areas that I had issues with, again, they were corrected almost immediately, so I didn't see it as a huge problem to my gameplay playing on PC without VR. In VR, it also wasn't a big deal, except for sometimes when you're dealing with VR, depending on how close the object is to your face in the game, you can have issues like reading text on paper and stuff like that too. So again, it's not a huge deal, but it's something that needs to be polished up some and they could fix in a patch. The game itself is beautiful, however, and everything about the atmosphere outside this bubble dome that you're living in, or the cell that you're living in, all the way down to like the layout of the town, and there's just a lot of thought put into it. And I mean, again, it's kind of a puzzle type game where you need to be able to put the right clues together and unlock new areas, so the layout is absolutely key, and they did a great job with that. There are a few weird environmental things, like a lack of interactable objects. So when you see a bench with like a bunch of different things on it, you might be able to pick up one thing but nothing else, or sometimes not be able to interact with anything on it, which was a little bit weird, but it didn't really take away from the immersion or anything like that. If anything, it told me this isn't important, I don't need to waste my time on it, keep on moving. Now, going into the audio with this game is another big hit with me. I mean, to the point where I'm considering purchasing the soundtrack for it. You get this really ominous feeling when you're walking around the deserted town and then you listen to the various holograms as they talk. You hear like this static or computer generated audio coming through the speaker, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it fits the theme really well and it really kind of immerses you in that type of environment. There's really good voice acting with the people that you do run into, or the holograms and things like that too. And I mean, when you get close to like the borders of a town, there's this barrier that you get for the cell, and you get a really cool like sound effect for the force field type thing. Like they really did think of a lot of things like that. Overall, I just would recommend that, maybe turn your volume up a little bit instead of turning it down on this one, because the soundtrack's actually really cool. And, it gets, again, an ominous feeling as you're going through different areas and kind of start questioning yourself on what you're going to be doing. I really have to commend the devs for the sound effects and the music within the game. Now, replayability is a little bit hard for me to judge at this point because I haven't beat the game. However, I was told that there are multiple endings to experience. However, these endings don't require a complete playthrough to happen a second time. So you can just basically load your save file and then go into the other ending as needed, basically, or if you want to check those out. So I haven't beat the game again, so I can't speak to this too much on how exactly it works, but the story seems to be one that if you wanted to go back through again, you can still enjoy it. I mean, personally, I enjoy these types of games in general, and I could see people speedrunning this type of game and stuff like that too. I know people do that with The Witness, for example. But the idea of having multiple endings that you can check out is pretty cool too. So overall, I mean, personally, I definitely recommend Obduction if you're into those open world adventure puzzle games like this. The Witness had more puzzling mechanics in terms of physical puzzles, like, if you guys haven't seen it, you draw the lines around the dots and things like that. However, if you like games that make you think in general, or you're old enough to have played Myst, you'll absolutely love this. If you're unsure or new to these types of titles, I think you'll still enjoy it, unraveling the mystery of the town, what happened to your character, what this alien planet thing is, what your purpose is for being there. But you may want to look for a sale. I mean, the price is $30, so if you haven't played this type of game, it's definitely not for everyone, so you might want to check it out when it's on sale instead. That said though, guys, I really did enjoy my time with an Obduction. I'll be playing it on stream at beam.pro/wisegamer until I finish it, and again, I hope to see you guys all there. In the meantime, you can check out my playlist of my other reviews I've done on the left side here, and on the right side you can check out my most recent review. I've been Thomas with wisegamer.com. This is my review of Obduction, and thanks for watching.